If the target is some lame, then even if I reach it, the best that I can be is a lame, living a lame life for lame reasons, and in the end, simply existing and never really living the way Jesus told us he could show us how to live. Jesus said, I came so that you might experience life, life in all of its fullness, because until we begin to follow him, we are just following a bunch of ordinary people living ordinary lives. Why not shift our focus and begin following the most extraordinary person that has ever lived on this earth? That just seems like common sense to me. And I don't mean just following Christ in the spiritual sense or the vertical sense. I mean following him by following and pursuing the people right here who he sends along our life's journey as a tangible representation of what it looks like to walk with him day by day. Paul said, imitate me as I imitate Christ. If you put yourself in the constant company of godly people, you will learn to do all of the great things that we talked about in this series, simply by being in their midst and watching them live this thing out in real life day by day. You'll learn to pray great prayers like they pray great prayers. You'll learn to treat your spouse the way they treat their spouse. You'll learn to take great risks and just trust God the way that they do. You'll learn to genuinely care about other people by the model that they're setting about caring of other people. Not because they're better than you or better than me, but because Christ in them has produced the fruit in their lives, and because they've practiced some of these things that we've been talking about over the last 4 weeks. Aside from God's grace and mercy, trust and believe, there is nothing good about me at all. Nothing, not one iota of goodness. Don't ever trust in me or follow me by any means, but only trust in the things that you see in me that Christ has produced. I will let you down every time. Jeff Baziani will let you down across the board eventually. There will be times when you call my phone and I cannot answer. There will be times when you have needs that I just can't fulfill. There will be shortcomings and failings in my life that will not properly reflect Christ. But if you trust in Christ and not me, you'll be able to see past those things because you're really looking at Christ in me. Paul said, imitate me as I imitate Christ. You know what I'm saying? But we're all on this journey together in this room. And I may learn from some of you guys just as much as you can learn from me. The bottom line is that we need each other, iron sharpening iron, to truly move forward towards the plan and the large life that God has for us. We can't continue to surround ourselves with pigs and wonder why life stinks and it's messy. Our lives and our hearts will begin to clean up the moment we begin to pursue and surround ourselves with the people God has sent into our lives strictly and solely. I mean, we live in the city, so many of our home lives haven't contained the kind of people that we want to become. But that's all the more reason why we need to stop and look at who we are today and who we are becoming, because our wounds and our baggage and our jacked up backgrounds and the dramas in which we may have grown up demand that we now pursue great people and surround ourselves with them. Because if we don't, those very same people who have been in our lives causing the most drama, causing the most pain, is the very people we will slowly become, whether we like it or not. People were tripping and thinking Jesus was crazy, right? When he said, to truly walk with me meant to leave your mother, leave your sister, leave your brother, People were looking at him like, what, dude? That's an insane thought. But this is the reason why. To truly pursue God's plan for your life means to make Jesus and his way number one, and you inherit a new family that will help you to be all that you can be in his plan. Does he want to restore the home relation? Of course. Of course he doesn't literally want you to say, forget you, I'm moving to India. No, he does want to restore those relationships in the home, but nothing is more important than knowing the God that created you personally and loves you no matter what you do, not based on circumstances, and nothing will bring peace into our lives like knowing him better and better and better the more that we surround ourselves with the people that he's trying to surround us with. And so if it is a mother or a brother or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever it is that's keeping you from moving forward with God and is always negative about it or lives a godless life, you may need to shake that off for a while and keep it moving. And hopefully, they'll see his work in your life and get on board too. But part of living large is allowing our hearts to open to a world in a way that is not natural. Because it sounds crazy, don't it? But we're born and we love inside of this little box. You know what I'm saying? I was born and I knew what love was. I love my mom, love my dad, love my brother and sister, and I loved inside this little box. Screw you, guy up the street, I don't care about you. My mom and my dad and you know, the people in my little circle. But fundamentally, when Christ came into my life, it blew the box off of my love so that I can love the lady behind the counter who's been crying. I can love the weird guy I met at the store. I can love the dude who sells vegetables to the corner and I don't know him from Adam. He blows the box off of our love so we don't have to love in this tiny little box. People are proud of themselves just when they love inside of that little box and ignore the rest of the world. And they say crazy stuff like, I take care of my kids. Like, isn't that something that's supposed to be? Or I love my wife. Isn't that supposed to just be a given, you know what I'm saying, that we love inside of that box? But unfortunately in our city, there's just not enough people standing up as role models inside or outside of the home. And so people are just following the popular opinion of the world that is obviously broken. We're following a world that's jacked up. Like if I ever fit into this world, I don't want to fit in. Like my whole life I wanted to fit in, right? And now I see the whole world is jacked, man, jacked. You can watch the news for 20 minutes, you'll know that. What in the world am I trying to do, trying to fit in? If the whole world's jacked and I fit into it, what's that say about me? God's ideal plan is that we would be raised in a Christian home that teaches and lives in reality. But the truth is that that's not always the case. So no matter who it is that we have to move away from or at least stop following or stop modeling our life after, they need to get out of the way so that we can begin to live large and move forward in God's plan for our life.